had a client that was using 10 or 12 spreadsheets to control their
Wow.
workflow. It was quite a reasonably sized company, and so it worked excellently. The spreadsheets worked excellently, but the amount of work being duplicated by the staff in all of these spreadsheets was, it was almost the equivalent of one person every day was duplicating the work in these spreadsheets, and so the cost of them was enormous.
Made to Grow, the podcast for SME manufacturers, brought to you by FlowLens, the simple, affordable MRP system. Over 10 episodes, we've got a host of experienced manufacturers, industry thought leaders, and subject matter experts sharing their personal stories and professional insights to help you on your manufacturing success story. So, stay tuned and subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts for a new episode every fortnight. This week, I'm sitting down with Mark Tooby, an accountant and business advisor with a wealth of experience in helping SME manufacturers scale their production, processes and revenue by using the best of cloud-based software. We've had the pleasure of working alongside Mark and his firm Horsfield & Smith when he has advised manufacturing businesses in his native northwest of England on the benefits of using Xero and FlowLens together to integrate their entire business into one system. Mark shares some fantastic insights into the common pitfalls and perils of disjointed manufacturing systems and the benefits of digital transformation for financial control and peace of mind. Let's jump in.
So, welcome Mark Tooby from Horsfield & Smith Accountants to the FlowLens Made for Growth podcast.
Morning, Rich. Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Could you give the listeners a wee bit more background about your work with manufacturers and the kind of operational role you play with them in certain cases?
Absolutely. I have over 30 years worth of experience in public practice working for accountants, but I also had a 8-year spell in industry. So on a daily basis, I have the knowledge to help clients, not just on their financial aspects, but having worked in a company day to day, I understand all of the cash flow issues and such. So over the last few years, I've spent more time working with manufacturing companies in the Northwest. We're looking for companies that are trying to grow and realize that they have issues in their systems, and they come to us and we help them review the manual systems that they have and try and move them forward into something a little more joined up.
And what are the kind of problems that you see with manufacturers who are, they don't realize what is holding them back, and the numbers aren't there to rely on?
No company is exactly the same, but a lot of them have very, very, very similar issues. Often part of the issue is they have some form of manual control, whether it be spreadsheets or on the back of a piece of paper. That's normally the first problem point, is that they'll have these spreadsheets that 4 or 5 people are working on at different times, and so these will cause issues for them. A lot of the issues that I see in a lot of companies relate to stock control. They either have work delayed, jobs in progress delayed, because they're either late ordering stock, or on many occasions, I've seen companies that have just run out of something. They've not realised what's coming up in their future production over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and they've actually run out of the stock that's needed. And then, if there's a 2 or 3 week lead time to get this stock back, it's then caused them a serious issue in their production. And of course, we all know that issues in production cost money at the end of the day. It's often, like I say, too much reliance on these manual systems of stock control and production control that are causing the major issues.
And you work with businesses then to look at their systems and processes and help them adapt to more modern solutions?
Yeah, we would normally speak to a client, and then we would undertake a full review of actually what they're doing. We've done this for quite a few clients over the last couple last couple of years, we'll go into the business and we'll speak to the staff, the staff that are completing the spreadsheets, that are trying to control their stock or trying to control their production. We'll speak to everyone that's involved in the process to get an idea of what they're doing and how they're doing it. To try and look to see what work is being duplicated, because often if you've got a series of 4 or 5 spreadsheets, you'll often find that information that goes on one spreadsheet is either being the same information is either being put by the same person on another spreadsheet, or someone else is inputting the information on the spreadsheet. So you could have, in one case recently, I had a client that was using 10 or 12 spreadsheets to control their
Wow.
workflow. It was quite a reasonably sized company, and so it worked excellently. The spreadsheets worked excellently, but the amount of work being duplicated by the staff in all of these spreadsheets was, it was almost the equivalent of one person every day was
A huge
duplicating the
cost.
work in these spreadsheets, and so the cost of them was enormous. And the problems with errors, of course, if you're inputting a piece of information into 5 or 6 different spreadsheets, the chances of making a mistake in one of them is much more than actually just inputting the information once.
And of course, it's a sort of vicious circle, because a lot of SME manufacturers that we come across haven't the time. That's the biggest thing that scares them when it comes to thinking about new systems. But it's a chicken and egg situation. You need to have that pain, because it's not a sticking plaster.
Absolutely.
I suppose with somebody like yourself, you're an honest broker. You're a third party. You've no interest in any particular systems. Yes, you're a zero partner on the accounting side, but from a manufacturing software, whatever the client, you're agnostic, so you can help them really figure out what the right solution is going to be. And then do you also help them walk through implementation?
Yeah. We have a process where we, as I said, we go out and visit, and we get the information to start with. We review the systems fully, and then we work on a report. And the report will say, we think that you can, use this piece of software. As you said, we look at, 5 or 6 different pieces of software. It will depend on what the manufacturing company produces and what extra information they will need. So we will look at this. We will look at the software on the market, and then we'll make a recommendation to them. And the recommendation will say, look, we think that actually this piece of software would work for you. Would integrate with your accounting system. And looking at what you do, and we can't be 100% sure, but we think this will save you X amount in time saving. Because of course, as you said, the 2 of the big issues they'll always have is they don't think they've got the time to do it, and they don't think they can afford to do it. And so part of our review process is to show them that actually it will save them time going forward. And in the long run, because it's saving them time, the cost actually will be negative. They'll save more time than it will actually cost them to have the software. Answering your specific question, yes, we do. Once we've spoken to the client and offered them what we could do for them in moving the systems, if they choose to go with it, then we would help them through the process completely. Plan when it was going to be installed. Assist them with what we call go live. So we'll work up to make sure that all the information is on there, and then we'll be around to support them with the software manufacturer on the day that they go live. And normally with the clients that we work with, we work for another month afterwards as well, just to help them, along with the software supplier for teething issues as well.
And on the zero side of things, that's something that people come to us quite often with a legacy accounting package.
Yeah.
And obviously we've referred some customers to yourselves to be able to actually walk them through the process of migrating from something legacy to the Zero Cloud platform, which again is another way of saving them time, and by getting it right first time, I suppose.
Yeah. We having the right cloud-based software the right accounting cloud-based software is very, very important. You have a lot of the old legacy software that is quite major and cumbersome. It literally does everything, and so you're trapped in this very large piece of software that changes very, very slowly. If you look at something much more cloud-based, something like Xero can move very quickly, and Xero works on the basis that it just wants to deal with the basic bookkeeping. So it allows you, it has an app store, so it allows you anything else that you want to do, you can bolt on these pieces of software, which is why it works perfectly with MRP software and other software as well. It integrates perfectly. So we always advise clients that they really should be on cutting edge cloud accounting software. And, as a practice, we've used Xero for 7 or 8 years, and I personally have used Xero for 6 years, nearly 7 now. I've worked with a lot of accounting software over the last 30 odd years, and Xero definitely is one of my favourites.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We've been working with it for probably over 12, 13 years at this stage, since its infancy, pretty much. So coming on to the numbers, once a manufacturer has their kind of platform and the firm foundation in terms of that system and the data capture, where do you see the benefits, particularly in terms of the metrics that drive performance? You always talk about, if you're looking at your end of month or end of quarter, or even in some cases people just wait till the end of the year, they're just looking out the rear window at what happened, whereas you've got a more real-time platform there. How do
Absolutely.
you use those numbers, and what numbers do you kind of focus on to help customers or clients drive
the clients
growth?
we work with normally have monthly management accounts. So having software at this level enables them to be able to know what their stock is at the end of the month, depending on the size of the products that they manufacture. Some of the projects are quite large, and so they can use the systems to monitor profitability on specific size projects as well. We use it a lot, as I say, for the stock holding and progress of work also as well. So in the past, where they've used spreadsheets to try and calculate the stock and how far they are through processing, manufacturing. Now with a piece of software that will do this, it enables them basically to cut off at the end of each month and very accurately get what they believe is the stock, the goods in progress, finished goods waiting to go out, and also on a management point of view for us, when we sit down and discuss figures with clients, a lot of the software will give you your pipeline over a period of time. So we like to work with clients where we don't just like to look at the month that's just gone, which is very important, but we're also looking at the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months of trading. So we can see, a lot of this software will give us a really good advantage on pipeline as well. And that's something that we like to discuss with the clients, and that will enable us to look at something that is very, very important, which is cash flow, of course. If we're looking at our stock holding and our work in progress and our pipeline, all of these are going to have substantial effects on our cash flow over the forthcoming period. So this is why, to me, software like this is enormously important to any business that wants to grow.
I think there are metrics that are help companies understand the profile of their growth, and if you're like cash conversion, so turning cash into revenue, basically, how long does it take to do that? What levers can you pull to shorten that cycle?
Absolutely.
And if you have a reliable set of numbers that are a single source of the truth, then you're working from a better place.
I've seen that with a lot of clients. Seen how things change from having things in a spreadsheet, 6 or 7 spreadsheets. We've worked with a lot of clients in the last few years where we've changed them over to Xero, and Flowlens on a few occasions, and the information that it's given them on we look at it on a monthly basis, but the information that it gives them on a daily basis enables them to make decisions enormously quickly. Where sometimes you'd have to sit down and try and think, well, what have I got coming up over the next 6 months? I'll just pull that information from there. I'll just pull that information from there. They're in a situation now where we can be in a Zoom call with them discussing the current work, the current month and where they are, and we just ask a question, and they're able to literally in real time pick out the information questions that we might ask. What is your pipeline over the next 6 months? So we get that information enormously quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It is really beneficial.
The Made to Grow podcast is brought to you by Flowlens, the simple, affordable MRP system specifically designed for SME device, equipment and machinery manufacturers. Our top-rated cloud-based software can help you cut down on wasted materials, time and money, and eliminate the chaos of running your manufacturing with spreadsheets and hope. Our customers have reported savings of over a day per week per person in their business by cutting out needless admin, duplication of work and countless mistakes. Plus, lead times are shortened by up to 75%. And after hundreds of successful implementations, we've got the blueprint for manufacturing success nailed down. Head over to flowlens.com for a quick video tour of the software and to hear from more manufacturers like you who have transformed their businesses with Flowlens. Now, back to the interview.
In terms of the business that you work with, are they, you're sort of bringing them on a journey of becoming more financially literate?
Yeah.
As well? Like, how do you help the other wider members of the team understand the impact that their activity, say, for example, particularly purchasing or the planning people, those have major impacts on how quickly you can turn cash into
Yeah.
revenue. Yeah. So do you work with wider parts of the business to educate them?
If you remember, I said that we go in right at the beginning. We undertake a review. We speak to the staff, and we find out how the staff are involved in the processes, and then we obviously make a presentation to the directors, but we also offer a presentation to the staff as well, where we say, we want the staff to buy into where you want to go. And so we're more than happy to spend, a little time, speak to the staff, explain to them how the work that they undertake will change, but how it will benefit them and benefit the business as well. So we do try, as long as the client's in agreement, we do try to educate the people that use the systems so that they can see why they're using it and the benefits of the business of using these systems.
It's funny that that's a theme that has run through this series so far, is that staff engagement, creating a sense of buy-in and ownership of the of what the process is, of the numbers. This sort of idea of imposing systems and change from on high is a recipe for disaster.
It's enormously important, and even here in our office, we've seen the same thing. We recommend it to all clients. You've got to get your staff to buy into what you're doing, because if you have people that don't think that it's going to work, and I do have first-hand knowledge of this. One that I wasn't really involved with, but a client was undertaking it themselves, but we do quite a bit of other work with them, and in the end they asked me if I could sit in a few meetings, because basically they didn't sell it to the staff well enough at the beginning. There was no buy-in, and so it just didn't get off the ground. It really didn't. There was no real desire from any of the staff that were going to use it properly. I take that as a lesson that I pass on to other people, that it is enormously important to get the buy-in from the staff right at the beginning.
Coming back, maybe to the stock, is there one metric that you would have companies, particularly when you're thinking of companies that have matured a bit, they've figured out kind of how they operate, they've figured out who their markets are and customers are, and they're those spreadsheets that you're talking about are a symptom of companies that are just growing. They're a valuable tool in that phase. But
Yeah.
as they start to come out of that, what are the key metrics that they need to focus on?
Certainly, interesting enough, in the last 18 months, one of the biggest issues, of course, has been the rising cost of raw materials. And so, we spend a lot of time with clients making sure that they are updating their systems for the cost of raw materials, and they are looking at their profitability on the manufacturing side, that their gross margins, to make sure that their gross margins aren't falling. And so, we've seen this in a couple of clients that they've swallowed the raw material costs, and then very, very quickly it's affected their gross profit percentage a lot more than they expected. And
Mm-hmm.
so, from that sort of point of view, for the last 18 months, that's one of the major ones that we've been working with clients on, even though it's a very, very old fashioned one, but it is very, very important. And we've worked with clients on the progress of the jobs as well, the progress of the manufacturing, so that they can identify whether there's areas where the manufacturing is being held up as well.
Yeah, as you say, gross profit might be an old-fashioned metric, but if you're not managing your direct costs efficiently, in whatever circumstances,
Yeah.
you've got a problem coming down the line.
And to go back to one of my other problems, if you're running a spreadsheet, or if you're running a series of spreadsheets that have your costs in, and the cost change, if you don't change all of those spreadsheets, you've got an error in the middle somewhere, and you could be selling something at a much lower margin than you expected. So it is,
Mm-hmm.
it is having this integrated, joined up system is enormously important.
Coming back to the sort of your outsourced finance director role again, there are companies that get to a certain stage that think about it's time to hire a full-time FD. Would you say that that's always a necessity, or obviously you've got an alternative solution to that?
Businesses go through a life cycle of sometimes it'll just be one person starting off, then employ a couple of staff, and so we like to work with growing businesses, and as the businesses grow, they go through this stage of, they might have a part-time bookkeeper that can do little bits and pieces, and so that the stage between maybe £500,000 and turnover and £5 million, or even £10 million, your business is growing quickly, your costs are going. It is really important to have good control over your finances, but you may not need someone full time. To get a finance director in one day a week or so is enormously difficult. So we offer an outsourcing service that can cover bookkeeping if you wish, payroll if you wish, but also we can just work at the higher end as well. So in effect, what we used to call the virtual FD. So we can, if you've got your own staff that will produce the basic bookkeeping, we can then produce monthly or quarterly management accounts. We can have monthly or quarterly meetings with the directors. Now, these meetings are not the old-fashioned meetings where it's 2 hours and we spend 1 hour 55 minutes discussing what you did last month. We produce a full reporting pack. So we will summarise the trading results for the previous month. We will discuss if there's anything important in there. But out of a 2 hour meeting, 1 hour, 1.5 hours will be looking at the current month and the future months. So, as a virtual FD, we're not just looking at what's happened in the last month. We're looking at planning. We're looking at cash flow over the next 3 months to make sure that the company's got accurate cash flow, production, whether the company, and pipeline, whether the company's got enough work over the next 3 months. So we build up these meetings. The first 2 or 3 will help us develop an understanding of what the business wants, and as we move forward from there, we become part of the team as such. Even
Mm-hmm.
we don't just attend the meetings once a month. We have all our clients have staff allocated to them so that they can speak to them. So it becomes a bit of a partnership, to be honest. And I know that myself and one of the directors, Lee, that I work with, we really do enjoy working with growing businesses. We really do find it exciting. And someone said to me the other day, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What gets you into work? Well, I actually quite like watching businesses grow. I really do enjoy, helping a little. There's my little bit. I've spotted something that you're doing wrong to help you, or I really do enjoy that. And we do deal with a lot of manufacturing businesses, but we also are a very broad range accountancy firm. So we also deal with other businesses which help us with an understanding of how businesses work, and that enables us to bring it into our manufacturing clients as well. But we are building our manufacturing portfolio.
Particularly for solo founders, you don't necessarily have a board of directors. That it's not necessarily about accountability, but it's about having somebody who's coming in with fresh eyes and looking at what the numbers are telling them and what the trends are telling them without a huge your vested interest is in their success.
Yeah.
But you're not inside the business, stuck in the weeds all the time. So I can sort of see the benefits of that kind of hybrid approach.
A lot of businesses really need mentors to help them grow, but they don't have that. So they often would treat us like a mentor. If we'll have quite a few phone calls, on a weekly basis. I just want to run something past you. I've got this idea. Do you think that will work? And that's part of the service that we offer. Like I say, it's not just black and white. That's what you did last month. It's understanding the business and giving them our experience of other clients that we work with, but also helping them to grow and develop the business.
So, just to kind of wrap things up, Mark, we've covered quite a lot of ground there. The importance of companies looking at their systems and processes to have a single source of truth. The ability then to have numbers that are reliable, whether it's your gross profit margin or that stock valuation, cash conversion cycle. Those things come out of numbers that you can actually believe, which is often the first issue with a spreadsheet based scenario. And then having that honest broker kind of role that you can play, both at the get go. Like I love that you can come in, you can look at the business, you can engage the staff in a process and give the directors a report that's unbiased and gives options, which a lot of the time they don't have time to do themselves, or even the understanding of the nuances. And then that kind of longer term rule where it's needed to provide that kind of analysis mentorship piece. There's a lot of great learnings from that today. So
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
In terms of if you were to leave our listeners with one takeaway, one piece of advice, when they're thinking about all of this, what would that be?
I like your word, one source of truth. I always refer to it as a joined up system. To really be able to control your business, you want the information as close together as possible. So if you've got, you really need to be cloud-based now. You want your system to be cloud-based. A piece of cloud-based accounting software that works with a cloud-based MRP system. It just gives you everything under one roof almost. The two will interact together. When I speak to new clients now, it's one of the first things that we do talk about is the fact that you need these systems now to be able to run your business properly. You need to be able to access the information. Everyone uses this expression, but it's true. In real time, you need that information now, not in 2 hours' time when someone can go away and calculate it for you. You want to be able to access it live on the screen, and that's how you run efficient businesses these days, is real-time information, day in, day out.
Great. And how do people find you, Mark, if they'd like to follow up?
You can, our website is horsefield-smith.co.uk. There's an inquiry form on there. One of my colleagues will pick it up and then they'll pass it through to the relevant person.
Brilliant. We'll put that link in the show notes as well.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well, once again, Mark, thank you very much for your time and insights. It's been really, really wonderful to have you, and I appreciate all of that.
No worries, Rich. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thanks again to Mark for joining us on this episode. It's heartening to see agreement from so many of our guests who reiterate that bringing your people on board at the start of a digital transformation process is of vital importance. And with Mark emphasising the importance of creating a single source of truth, we're definitely singing from the same songbook in our day-to-day work. Next time, I'll be talking to Angela Lawler about one of the most difficult topics facing manufacturers in the UK today: recruitment. Angela is an expert in outreach programs to young people, building awareness of the often overlooked career paths available in the world of manufacturing. We have a wide-ranging and at times very frank discussion of the failings of current skills development programs and outline some key actionable tips on how to build a recruitment pipeline for your manufacturing business. Thanks again for joining us on this week's episode. If you found it useful, please consider rating and reviewing Made to Grow on your podcast platform of choice. Till next time.